at the Oxford Maqam, and they've literally just come off stage. How are you guys?
Really, really good, thank you. Yeah, lovely day.
Yeah. How did you find the set?
Yeah, great. Yeah. I think it was nice and snappy and in keeping with the festive atmosphere. Yeah, great.
So you come all from different backgrounds. What inspired you to create music together?
Oh well, I just joined these people 6 months ago, which is really a very big honor for me. But the inspiration behind it is these two gentlemen here.
Yes. So Eric is French and Greek.
Wow.
Yeah. Dr. Martin Stokes is, well, I guess English.
I'm from London.
From London. And I'm Egyptian Sudanese. Lived in the UK for the last 25 years. Yeah.
I'm Egyptian Palestinian, grew up in London, in Britain, and this is Mina.
Mina, I'm Egyptian as well.
Wow, okay. So can we focus on your recent project, Wax Cylinders? So you recorded 19th century music with modern instruments, and then you actually recorded on wax cylinders. What was that like?
So we've been learning our music from old recordings, and the oldest of these old recordings were recorded on wax cylinder technologies. And it was quite consequential for how the music was made. It meant that the long songs had to be shortened because you'd only got 2 minutes, 20 seconds to fit everything in. The improvisations had to be sort of wheeled in, reined in. So we wanted to find out what it felt like, really just asking ourselves questions of our own music, or the music that we were learning from this, by actually recording it on the wax cylinders ourselves as a kind of experiment. So we met a man called Duncan Miller, who's an early recording technology specialist. He lives up in Sheffield. We tracked him down. We asked whether we could spend a day recording on his old wax cylinders, and we did that as a kind of experiment. At the end of the day, we'd learned a tremendous amount about this old music, about how you compress it, about how you handle the improvisations, about how you handle the voice, about how you handle speeds, all of these kind of things that we hadn't really thought about before. We ran off, I don't know, about 16, 17 recordings, wasn't it? Something like that. At the end of the day, we were listening to these and thinking, that doesn't half sound bad. Maybe we should put these together as a CD. So that was how the CD was born, almost as an accident, really.
And as you mentioned, you improvise a lot and research a lot. Has there been any challenging obstacles that you've faced?
Well, there are a lot of. I'll pass the baton over. But
Obstacles with making the actual CD, you mean?
Yeah,
I mean the music itself. I think it comes with a lot of practice. You have to almost practice improvising and force yourself to improvise on stage, off the cuff. Try not to make too many preparations for improvisation areas and stuff. As far as the album is concerned, the biggest challenge, of course, was initially, before we got in front of the brass horn, was how we were going to find the sort of material that's not going to suffer from being squashed down to a 2 minute and 20 second long song without having to chop bits of it that would kind of make it collapse, if you like. So that was the first thing. And then how we can dynamically play that sort of music and make it interesting as a soundbite in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So these are generally the obstacles, but I think we've overcome them. So yeah, it was okay.
There were no microphones.
No, there's no microphones. No, absolutely not. And Duncan would say, if Yara can hear us play, that means she's not singing loud enough. And if we can hear her sing, that means we're not playing loud enough. It's because the instrumentalists were on one side with one horn, playing very loudly, and she would be, her face would be almost inside the other horn, singing very loudly, and that gives you the balance. Yeah.
So speaking of the creation of the music, the collaborative process, has everyone got a specific role, or would you say it's a collaborative process?
I think generally we all go in, try and find suitable material, bring it to rehearsals, and try and understand it together, and then start devising the roles between us. I think it generally happens organically, making sure everyone understands their instrument and what they need to do within a particular work, and the rest is just production that we do during rehearsals. Yeah.
And Out of all the venues and locations that you've played, where would you say you feel like you've been most well received?
Wow, what a question. That's very interesting. I feel like I'll have a boring answer for you because it's not a definitive one. I mean, in Oxford, we realised, which is where we began, we were really charmed by the quality of the audience in terms of people who are musos, like they want to listen to music that they perhaps aren't used to. So that was that. We've been quite spoilt from the beginning in terms of that. But then in London, we had the pleasure of playing to more Arab-speaking audiences, so that the music, the whole affair became more interactive, which is how it's meant to be. As a kind of music. The musical culture is interactive, so that was a pleasure. And then recently we've gone to the Arab world, and that's been a whole other thing. Yeah. So it was a challenge, but it was also like complete pleasure, because we are, after almost 10 years, taking this music in some ways in the first way that it's been played in a very, very long time, back to where it belongs, to modern audiences. And I think we've shown from their response that it is still very relevant, this music. So I'm not sure if that quite answers your question, but I wanted to say it.
I think honestly, generally, I think we were blessed to be well received in every gig we played.
Even here today, you know, people really enjoy, I think, maybe the combination of the instruments. They like the sound, and even when they don't understand the lyrics, people sort of can understand a lot and enjoy it. So yeah, we're generally lucky in having things go down well, we think. Yeah.
Every gig we do, I find myself saying this is the best, and it definitely feels like that today. But for me, as a non-Egyptian, there was something very, very special for me about playing in Cairo, to audiences in Cairo. I mean, this music comes out of Cairo. We've had the luxury of being able to kind of make it up as we're going along. I mean, we do it in as informed and as educated a way as we can. You know, a lot of research goes into this. But to be able to take that back to Cairo, as we did a few months ago, and to play it to audiences there, for me, was very special indeed.
Thank you. And finally, what does Eid mean to all of you?
Sorry?
What does Eid mean for you? What does it symbolise to you?
Well, for me it's a great concert. No, I'm joking. Well, for the culture and the music and what happens here, I guess that doesn't really answer your question. It's a bit difficult to answer. But
it's okay. What about you?
Celebrating different people coming together and celebrating being together, particularly in a great city like this. This is what it's all about for me. Happy Eid, everyone.
Well, I guess a time of joy, festivity, and binge eating, which I'm about to do. So if you want to film that, there's going to be something to watch. It's going to be special.
Yeah, I mean, it's a happy time. I think there should be more of these things happening in London. I think it's nice to see the different cultures from the Islamic world represented in the festival. Musically, it's just like a tiny window into the amount of variety there is in the Islamic world. So it's nice. It's great as an Arab music band to be participating in that. Yeah, it's great.
This is one of the best bands I play with them, Arabic music, because they have very good repertoire. It's not a common one and very special, and not everyone know a lot about these songs. So and they make these songs live again. So that's very, very important.
We're lucky to have Mina as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, well, can I just add, you guys create a unique sound, and it's compelling just to hear that back from history, and you've made it your own. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Enjoy binge eating, binge drinking, celebrating.